All right. So basically, of course, this webinar is on everything related to AI, and AI is the big new thing that everyone's talking about. So I'm going to be going through all the different ways you can help, or you can utilize AI for to help scale your fencing or decking business. And all right, so this is just kind of an outline of what we'll be covering on here. So we'll give an introduction to AI for fencing and decking, and we'll also be talking about some practical applications that you can really utilize AI for fencing and decking for things like scheduling, budgeting, marketing, um, creativity, and then also the just some of the benefits, best practices, and how you can really take AI, know the different options, and put in your business and see if there's any way it can help you, basically become more efficient and ultimately grow and make more money for the business. So if you don't know me, if you've never been on one of these webinars before, so we have a lot of different content that we do, not just these webinars, as you know. But I am the owner of Fence and Deck Marketers, which is a digital marketing agency that only works with fencing and decking companies. And we've been doing SEO and digital marketing for a long time, about 10 years now, and really founded Fence and Deck Marketers after working with having an older agency that worked with every type of company, and I wanted to narrow it down and work with one specific type. So we had good results with fencing and decking. That was one of the reasons, but also doing a lot of fencing work myself on our farm, installing high, 10-foot high deer fence, and it's always getting knocked over and things like that. So we're constantly fixing it, but it's up in the mountains of Pennsylvania, so it's pretty tough to put that together. But you have a lot of respect for people in these industries. I know it's hard work, and met a lot of great people, since starting it. So we also, you can see there, the Fence and Deck Mastery podcast. We will take the audio files from the webinars and upload them there, but we also do a lot of other, a lot more content there about once a week, whereas the webinars are once a month. So if you want to go there, while you're in the truck, going between jobs, yeah, it's a great way to learn on the go. And even if you're not listening to our podcast, I hope you at least check them out and start utilizing them, because they're a great way to learn a lot of valuable information. All right, so as the name suggests, we only work with fencing and decking business owners. That's what Fence and Marketers does. We do pretty much all types of digital marketing, website development, pay-per-click like Google ads. We do local services ads by Google, social media posting. We also do, Facebook ads too. And we'll be talking about how to utilize AI for some of these here throughout the webinar. So stay posted for that. All right. So as I said in the beginning, AI really is just taking over at this point. Ever since ChatGPT kind of came on the map, it really just had everyone's mind explode basically, and it has just the potential to really take over complete industries. They say that's kind of like the talk of the town, I guess. I don't know if I'm completely sold. I guess there's some out there that it'll take over completely, but at the very least, it's going to be putting people out of jobs like it already has, as I'm sure everyone's heard about. But it's a really powerful tool, and if you do use it efficiently, you can absolutely get jobs done, much more quicker than before. Help automate things, and just be more efficient as business owners. And streamline. I'll talk about a couple things that can help do as well. But like streamlining processes is a one thing that we've really had a lot of success with, and then that leads to improved efficiencies, and then that just helps scale your operations and grow faster. So I've just what I asked for you. I would imagine if you join this webinar, you already have an open mind with AI. But I do this because I want fencing and decking owners to stay on the cutting edge and not get left behind. And at this point, AI is not going anywhere. So you just want to utilize it faster in your competition. Use it to create better experiences for customers, and ultimately make more money for the business. But on top of this, AI really can help you build new ways to not only kind of manage relationships with customers and also improve internally, but even attracting leads, like bringing more leads in, managing those projects once you have them sold, and then really a lot more that we'll be talking about. But some stats for you to kind of get an idea of who's using it, why you should use it. 77% of businesses are using or exploring AI. And then between those, within that, 35% of companies are actually using it, they say, and then 42% are either exploring it or looking to implement it at some point in the future. So, at this point, it's been around for over a year. I mean, AI has been around much longer than that, but ChatGPT and what everyone's, that's kind of how everyone got to know about it. It's been around for over a year, the most recent um, iteration of it, but most are at least exploring in some way. And if you can kind of explore, it's pretty fun to do, honestly. Um, really just for the most part, just kind of see the options, and that's what we'll be talking about here on the webinar. And all right, so let's keep going. Okay, so we're going to be talking about some of the headaches, the common business headaches that you can have, and then we'll talk about some ways that AI can really help with them. As a business owner, there's a million different headaches that just pop up constantly. They seem like they're never ending. So having something like AI to kind of help navigate through these and make quicker and better solutions for it is going to be really beneficial for you. But we're going to dive down into some of the more common business headaches, and then get into the AI part of it. So first one I want to talk about is just like the operation management challenges that you're going to have, within fencing or decking. So limited resources, now that I know during the COVID years, like materials, they were a big problem. Now it's, evened out. But aside from that, internally, having enough people, some people have, some companies have a hard time finding the right people. So having that manpower that you need, the right equipment, we talked about materials, and really just the production capacity. So, as you grow, just being able to take care of those additional jobs. And if you're going from, 2 to 3 crews or just adding crews in general, you got to make sure everything's well oiled and working well before you kind of take that jump, so you're actually doing a good job with customers, providing a quality product, so you get referrals and stuff in the future. And then also inefficient processes. So a big thing that we've dealt with and we see a lot with fencing and decking is just making sure you have processes that are standardized, and you want to make sure that as much as possible that all the processes and basically the work your crews are doing are standardized across the board, and you're making sure they're checking all the boxes. But also they could be using outdated technology, and that can really just lead to inefficiencies with project management, overall production of fencing and decking, and then installing. But problems with that, in the end, it's going to lead to, if things aren't efficient and you keep running into problems, it's going to lead to more delays, increased costs, less profit for the business too. And then the last one is going to be quality control. So you want to make sure the quality standards are always kept, no matter how big or small you are. So usually the common one is, as you grow, quality can kind of dip if you hire people that aren't experienced and haven't been around with you long enough, don't know all the little things that you do so well. So we'll talk about that with AI, like how you can help standardize those procedures. And a big thing with that too is if you're using subcontractors, that can be tough. The crews that you're using there, you may have some that you trust more than others. If you're not using full-time in-house crews, you can use this to make sure they're doing exactly what you want. Okay, so these are just a couple of tools with AI that you can take advantage of to help become more efficient and better as a business. The first one is Forecast. So this is a really powerful AI-driven inventory management tool, and it can really, what it actually does is help forecast demand accurately. So it'll take in your sales data, any trends, any current trends or marketing conditions you have, and it'll be able to predict future demand for the materials that you need. So if you need more wood or more composite decking, screws, nails, whatever the case may be, it can use this data to really forecast, what time of year you're going to need, those materials most, and what quantities. But this really, using this will help you, create optimal inventory levels, make it so you're not having any stockouts, and then also reducing inventory costs, keeping all that stuff, within your shop or wherever you're keeping it. And then uh, that's really just going to allow you to, be a little bit more timely with your customer orders. It's going to just make you more efficient overall. And then also what's cool about Forecast is I'm sure you're using all types of different tools, project management tools, email tools, whatever. So it integrates with a lot of cool stuff like if you're using things like Asana or Google, HubSpot, Monday, Excel, Outlook, the list is really long. So it integrates with a lot of tools that you already are using and allows you to bring them all together as well. So that's a really cool one too to check out and see if it could help you. Process Street is another one. So this is when I was talking earlier about, making sure things are standardized and all your processes are standardized. So Process Street is all about automating workflows. And what I mean by that is really just creating business processes and managing them within Process Street. So if you have a specific process for whatever the case may be, installing anything related to the whole process of installing fencing or decking, you can actually have your workflows in there, have them what's the word, listed out, like all the steps listed out, so that way things aren't getting lost and forgotten about. And then what we've seen people can use this for fencing or decking is really like planning out your projects, anything related to getting materials for the job, the actual installation process, quality control, like I said, and then also you can use it for customer invoicing and actually getting paid too. But using something like this that's more standardized is going to make you just more efficient, have a lot less errors, and make the quality overall better. All right, so the third one is Workcast. I think I say Workcast or whatever. So this is a project management tool. There's a lot of these out there, but this is one that we've seen and heard good things about too. This is really just going to help with project planning, scheduling, and execution for all your jobs. And basically here you can like most project management tools, you can create tasks, assign them to team members, set deadlines, track progress, things like that. And it'll allow you to manage all different projects all at once and figure out how to allocate all the resources appropriately, all the things you would need to like properly install fencing or decking. Same thing with these guys. They do have a lot of integrations, so pretty much all the main bigger softwares out there, it does integrate with that as well. A big one here that we're going to be talking about specifically and going through some examples, ChatGPT. I'll get into that a little bit more. I'm not going to talk too much because we'll be talking about it a lot here shortly. That's a great tool though. And Jobber, this is just one of them. There's a lot of different options out there, as I'm sure you guys know. But we do generally hear good things about Jobber. And this is just a great way to manage everything within fencing or decking. Your scheduling, dispatching, invoicing, quoting, payment processing. It's all on one platform and allows you to track the progress of all your jobs. All your expenses you can keep track in there. All the invoices are organized nicely, and then you can of course get paid through there as well. And they actually have some other cool features if worried about like tracking your team members, making sure they're going on the quickest routes. It'll actually help you optimize your routes so you're going the fastest possible way to the customer when you're doing your different jobs. And then also has got some different things related to like customer communication. You can use that as well for within Jobber. And Jobber's just one, like I said, there's quite a few out there, but I'll give you kind of the list that we've seen or heard good things from clients. So Jobber's one, Builder Trend's another one. Recently, we just did a podcast on Job Tread where one of our clients was talking about that and really likes it. Service Titan, House Call Pro. Some of these get a little bit pricier. I think Builder Trend and Service Titan are some of the more pricey ones, but depending on what you need, make sure to check these out and kind of based on your requirements, make sure you're picking the right one because there's a lot of options out there. All right, give me one sec. Okay. Okay, so we talked about the operation challenges. Next, I want to talk about some marketing ones, and then we'll show you how you can help that with AI. So first one's going to be limited brand visibility. Basically, this is a common one. Most people have this problem to some extent, and that's just not having the brand visibility that you want. So you just don't have enough people that know about you. Fencing and decking is very competitive. So you of course just need to find, ways to actually stand out. And, if you have competitors that have been around for a long time, it makes it even harder. You got to kind of take market share from them. But it can be done. And, if they're not utilizing and staying up with the times and doing, you know, staying on top of new trends like AI, that's a way you can really gain that, extra leg on them. Also, brand relevance is a really important one and one that's often overlooked. So as younger generations start to gain more money, people enter that pool of people that need fencing and decking, the consumer preferences do change. And this is a big problem with fencing and decking, because if you're not speaking to the right customers, the right specific type of customer you want, then you're going to get less leads, less traction within your market. So basically, as an example, kind of what you could have as a problem is if you have branding or messaging, or maybe you have an old website that was created 5, 10 years ago, the messaging just might not resonate, or maybe it just wasn't created good enough to resonate in general. Maybe you just need to really sit down and think about what the content on your website is and who you're really specifically talking to. Also, managing relationships with clients can be a big problem with marketing. In order to get more referrals, more jobs, you got to have positive relationships with clients. So that's crucial with fencing and decking, like any other contracting business. You want to get more people calling you or referencing or referring you to, friends and family. And there's a lot of different issues that can come up. If there's communication issues or project delays, quality concerns, things like that, that's going to affect you in your relationship with that client. You get through the job, but they might be unhappy with how it turned out, which will mean they're less likely to refer you later. But over time, you want to make sure you're staying in contact with them, nurturing that relationship. So that way they do, refer you in the future. And AI will talk about ways you can do this too. And we kind of talked about this a little bit, but targeting the right audience. So you gotta, when you build your website, you do your email marketing, social media, you got to be targeting the right audience. Thinking about the types of customers that you want most, which would be, ones that actually can afford the services of a nice new fence or deck. You want less tire kickers. So also the market. So this is a pretty big one, and one I talk about a lot is making sure that where you're specifically targeting geographically. So wherever, say, your Google listing is set up, you want to make sure that's close to wherever you're trying to bring in new leads from. So if you're kind of in the middle of nowhere, you have your Google listing set up in a very rural town with only 1,000 people in it, and you're trying to get leads in a major city. That's going to be a problem with SEO, because you're going to have a lot less people to basically attract. You're going to be much farther away from the people that you want. So it's really important to think about that, make sure you're in the right location, and then you have a website that's targeting the right type of audience. Okay, so let's get to the digital marketing part, which is always going to be my favorite. We're going to be talking about how to basically use AI for things like content creation, get more leads, and then also you can even use it for customer support. All right, so to give you an idea of kind of how this all comes together and how we look at it. So a marketing system that we utilize is called the omnipresent marketing system. And there's basically 3 principles to it. It's how to maximize opportunities, brand impressions, and then conversions, which I'll go through here in a sec, each one individually. So first things first, you got to maximize opportunities. And what I mean by that is just getting more people to call you, more people reaching out because they need a fence or a deck. You need as many opportunities as possible. There's a lot of ways to do that. And some of the ones that I'm always talking about digitally, those are all different opportunities. So utilizing SEO as an opportunity to get more leads, utilizing Google ads, Facebook ads, social media posting. These are all ways that you can actually bring in more leads and get more opportunities. Because the more opportunities you have, the more jobs you're going to sell. So that's what first step is. And from there, we're going to talk about brand impressions. So people need to see your brand. Now it's extremely competitive. like it always has been. It's always going to be competitive unless you're in a really, really good market, I guess. But there's that kind of rule of seven rule in marketing that's basically says someone needs to see your business 7 times before they ever reach out to it. So if you're just doing, one type of marketing, it's going to be hurting you because people need to see your business more and more. So that rule of seven really doesn't apply that much anymore. It's more like 21 because people are bombarded with ads and advertisements all the time on social media. So you need to be focusing on different types of on marketing, not just one that'll help people see your business. And it doesn't even have to just be digital. People seeing your business offline through billboards and signs and things like that are great. But you want to have as many people to see your business as many times as possible because they're going to be more likely to reach out to you if that's the case. And then 3 is maximize the conversion. So we're going to be talking about ways AI can do this to bring in more conversions too, which we'll just get into it. But basically, you have all these opportunities that are coming in through your marketing or through referrals, and you're trying to get your name out there. People need to see your brand. But once they actually come to you, you need to make sure you're actually converting them. You're actually maximizing those conversions and having a higher close rate. All right, so I'm going to talk to you about some of the different AI tools that you can use, and we're going to be going into ChatGPT here as well. But if you're excited about using some AI tools and going into that a little bit more detail, just put a 1 in the chat. But if you think you're not really sure, you think it might not help, or you're a little bit skeptical, just put a 2 in the chat. I'll grab some coffee. Thanks, Glenn. All right, so glad Glenn's excited. We got some good stuff that that will definitely be useful to you. So, all right, so here's some big ones that we've researched or used personally or have heard good things about. ChatGPT, I'll just get that one out of the way. We'll be talking about that in more detail. So I'm going to keep kind of passing that off to later. And I think that's one that's been used by a lot of people anyways. But there is a way to create content for your website, SEO.ai. This is a way that you can create content very fast for a website. It's pretty cool. It generates it fast, but it also is pretty good about creating content that's specific to a business. However, and this is a big deal with pretty much all these tools. AI, you will never want to use as something like SEO AI or ChatGPT without editing it. So it's great for getting idea creation, really getting the wheels spinning, and it'll give you something that will make the process much faster, but you need to be editing it as well. So SEO AI is great for content. Capwing, I'm not sure if anybody here has seen my social media videos, but we do use Capwing for all of that. That's great for editing videos and creating content for social media. Canva, that's one that I think everybody should have an account for personally. It's amazing for creating any type of graphic for social media or really just graphics for anything. It's a great tool. It's very easy to use. Also, we have Opus, which is another video editing tool that's a little bit pricier than Capwing, but it does a good job too. And Munch, another one, video editing. Sure, you're noticing a trend here. You should be doing editing for, you should be doing video creation for your social media pages. So these are just some great ways to create these videos faster. Also, Descript. This is a way to take, if you have as an example, we use it all the time for our files, our video files, like for the webinar. We'll actually take that, use Descript to take all the text out of it. And that way we can have comments over the videos. We use it for the social media videos too. So you'll see the text over the video when you're seeing it, because most people don't want to have the sound on. So that's a way for them to watch it and see what you're saying. Dolly, this one I've just heard about, but it's basically you can create nice images just from text. So you tell AI, you want to create a new image, and you kind of give the description of what you want, and it'll actually create images based off of that. And then Namelix, this one is really just if you're thinking about rebranding your business name, if you want something that's like pretty catchy and sounds nice, Namelix can help you create a new brand for the business. I will say, just from an SEO perspective, if you want to rename, it's always a good idea to have keywords in that name. So even if you want to get kind of boring and just say like, you can always create city plus, as an example, like Dallas Fence Company, um, something like that, or, whatever city you're in, fence company or deck company. That's a great way to rank for that keyword very easily. So it's going to lead to more leads. But if you want a little bit more catchy, something a little bit cooler sounding, you can use something like Namelix for that. And then a big thing now that's kind of not where it's not there yet, but using chatbots with AI, using AI to basically respond to people. That's a great way to convert more people. It's just not perfect yet, but Landbot, that's a company you can use to create the chatbot, and it'll actually use AI to communicate. Um, it's just something that's not going to be perfect, but it'll allow you to respond to someone quicker. It'll allow you to be the first to reach out to that lead as soon as they or respond to that lead as soon as they reach out to you. Okay. So what I want to do is really go into everything with ChatGPT and kind of give you a better understanding about how it works and what you can do with it. So we'll get into everything about ChatGPT. So a disclaimer, and I already mentioned this a little bit, but before you kind of see what it can do, just know, because it could be very easy to be like, okay, AI can just do all these things. I can just create it, post it on the website, or not have to test it. It's definitely not the case. I mean, you still need a human interaction, and that's because AI is really just a tool. It's something that's going to help us, do our jobs faster and more efficient, but you just don't want to rely on completely. You want to edit it manually by a human if you're writing content or doing using AI. You need to have that oversight. And to kind of paint a picture is with AI, it's gonna be able to do a lot of specific tasks or help you create tasks or get faster at doing specific tasks, but it's not going to be what you want to use for strategy. You don't want to say, ChatGPT, create a strategy for my business and we'll just go based off of that. It's never going to be the case. Well, who knows? Maybe one day it will, but you want to just kind of think about it as just a way to help you with these individual tasks, these millions of little things that you do every day. You can use AI for that. And also with ChatGPT, it doesn't have real-time data. So everything ChatGPT uses is 2021 or earlier. So with digital marketing, it changes constantly. I mean, it's always changing. We're basically relying on Google for a lot of things, and they say Google changes about 650 times every year. So if you're using ChatGPT, you don't want to be asking for strategies and things to do if it's dependent on time. You don't want to be getting a strategy that was old that's no longer working. So that's why it's important, to have somebody that's keeping track of all these things, making sure the things you're doing are current and aren't, something from 3 or 4 years ago. But I am part of a large mastermind with the top digital marketing agencies in the world. And we're always discussing different things that we can do and basically testing different things to know the results. So that's kind of what you need to have. You can rely on you need to have some kind of network or some other way to stay current, not just rely on ChatGPT or AI to just manage everything for you. But as far as Google, what we say is, hey, might not like AI. I mean, they really have no choice but to embrace it. Obviously, Google has their own tool that they just rebranded Gemini, and they do allow AI content. For a little while, they said that they might not allow it, but now they embrace it. They say you can use it, but at the end of the day, Google's only going to want to show the user the best content. And if you're using just AI, ChatGPT to just generate everything all at once, it's not going to fit the bill. It's not going to be the best possible content out there, especially if your competitors are doing a better job creating unique content. But what we've seen is with social media, they're kind of indifferent about it. You can use it a little bit more because AI, social media posts and things like that. It's not, I guess, as up to date as Google is, so you can use it. I'm going to show you how to use it for social media too. But just don't forget when you're doing this, you just have to make sure you're editing with humans and also fact checking. So we've had many times where we get a result from ChatGPT and it's just not correct at all. So you got to make sure you're looking through the content, make sure it's actually accurate, because you don't want to just put something on your website or social media that's just completely wrong and, make the company look bad. Okay, so if you do want to use ChatGPT, and I would recommend playing around with it, regardless, because it's pretty amazing. But right now, ChatGPT 4 is the most up-to-date one. They had ChatGPT 3.5. That's kind of when it first released, and everyone started to find out about it. ChatGPT 4 is a new one, and they say it's up to 2 to 3 times smarter than 3.5. So there's really no use in using 3.5 at this point. But ChatGPT is paid, or ChatGPT 4 is paid. I think 3.5 might be free, and it's just limited. I'm not even sure. We use the paid one, and it's only $20 a month, so it's well worth it. It's not expensive, and really, what's cool about it is you can use it kind of like an assistant. You talk to it in real language. It understands pretty much everything you say as long as it's not gibberish. But you can use human language to speak to it. Think of it as your assistant or your employee, and you can kind of talk to it like that, give it commands, and it'll give you what you're looking for. But what's really nice about it, if you want like detailed answers, if you're a fencing or decking company and you want to kind of give it context to your business and detail about the business, you can do that. So you can ask for things, but you specify like something that's only specific to your company. The business name, of course, maybe where you're working in, anything like that. When you ask for a response, you can specify these things so the response includes that. So it's specific to your business. You can also give it examples. It understands examples, but really at the end of the day, you just have to have iteration. It's so key. Just keep refining it, refining it. You can get a response back and just be like, hey, this isn't exactly what I wanted. You need to account for this, and let them know that your business is different in this way, and they'll edit the text and send it back. There's no limit to what the level of detail you can give it. All right, so we're about to get into some of the examples of it. So the first one, I want to talk to you about like how to create content with it. Again, I'm going to keep adding this asterisk. You don't want to just get a content from ChatGPT and put it on your website. You do need to edit it, but it will help you speed up the process, and also it can help you, create, or I guess get the wheel spinning or create an outline. There's a lot of ways you can use it. You still want to rely on it solely. So it just does need heavy human editing. But with ChatGPT, this is kind of how you can do it. You can say, hey, this is the task. I want to write a blog post. The topic is I want you to compare a composite deck versus wood decks. You can say the style. So in this case, we'll say educational, but you could also say casual, professional. The tone, informative in this instance, but you could say, excited, boring, sad. Audience, we want property owners. You got to think about when you're thinking about the audience, think about exactly who you want to be reading this content. And you can even get more specific, like maybe it's a property owner. Maybe you're going after a 40-year-old woman that's a mother, a wife, something like that, has kids. You can talk to her. That's great for kind of painting the picture and selling it to them, what they're actually looking for. If they're looking for a new fence, they want to keep their pet or their kids safe, things like that. You can use it for that. Length, sometimes they don't listen to it. You can say, I want 1,000 words. They don't always listen to it. It might be a little bit less, but you can specify length for it too. And then finally, the output, if you wanted it to not just be text, you can actually tell them to put it into a table. If you want HTML, that's the language for building websites. JavaScript, it's also for websites. It'll actually write code for you and present it back to you as well. So in this instance, just to kind of give you an idea of what it would look like on ChatGPT, I would say something like, all right, I want you to write a blog post comparing wood decks and composite decks. The style should be educational. The tone should be informative. Audience is property owners making 150,000 or more in combined household income. And the length of the post should be 1,000 words. So you submit that to ChatGPT, and it'll basically create that in seconds. It'll create the content very fast. And let me bring that up real quick. I'll kind of show you what it looks like to give you an idea. So this is just kind of the prompt here. And you can basically see kind of the comparison, wood versus composite, main requirements, durability, longevity, and it'll usually take, less than a minute to create the whole thing. But as you kind of see through here, it definitely shocks you at how smart it is. You just got to look at the fine details and make sure it's all accurate and it's what you're looking for. But that's kind of what you can see here. You can see it's probably done in around a minute or so. Just give it one sec. And to give you an idea, we don't really use ChatGPT for our content a lot of times. We use it for like idea creation and stuff, but that's just because there's other tools out there that are a little bit better. But it's a great way to, kind of get the ball rolling with blog posts and kind of come up with an idea too, and then make your edits. So we're not just taking this and put it on clients' websites or anything like that, but it will give you a lot of ways to figure out what you want to do. So the different subheadings you want within a blog post, different ways to format it, you can use it for that. All right, so next thing here, I'm going to go into the social media side. So this is a way, so if you're not doing social media, maybe you just don't have the time, or maybe you just maybe you're just really, I guess it's usually the case we hear, maybe you think it's not enough time or you're not creative enough to do it. Well, now with ChatGPT, you'll be able to do it, and you'll have a way to create content, much faster. So with this here, you can basically give it a prompt to say, in this example right here, I said, okay, I want you to make me a table for fence contracting business for social media posts for the week of March 1st through 7th. Create 7 posts, and I want you to include the date, the post text with a motivational fencing tip, also include relevant emojis, and 3 hashtags to attract people. Also, I want you to add a column for an image idea for the post. So basically, told ChatGPT to create that, and this is what it came up with. Basically, a schedule right here of exactly what you could post. If you wanted to just take and run with it, if it sounded right, you could. But to me, that was just amazing when I first saw that. I couldn't believe it. Would create content like this, follow it so closely, and basically create a schedule. Because doing this myself, it takes probably would take an hour or so, and now you can get the ball rolling. And if it sounds good enough to you, you can use it or make some edits here to really make it specific to your business. But I think I was blown away by this, so I'm just curious what you guys think. Put a 1 in the chat if you think it was pretty cool, and then put a 2 in the chat if you're like, that's not that cool. All right, Greg agrees with me, thinks it's pretty cool. Same with Scott. And another thing that's just kind of amazing, like as a side note too, my background is in software engineering. So like coding, that's what I did, in the very beginning. Now they can use ChatGPT to write the code. So pretty amazing, honestly. I guess it's good I'm not just a coder anymore, but that the amount of time it took me to figure that out and learn how to code, it took a while. It wasn't easy. And now there's a program that just writes it for you. So you can actually write some code on here as well, which is pretty crazy. But all right. So if you guys are doing email marketing, again, what I love about AI is like, I think the best thing about it is when you think of like a task that you're just like already busy, you're already doing so many things constantly. When you think about like, all right, I got to sit down and write social media posts, or I got to sit down and do an email sequence, it just sounds crazy. You just don't want to do it. You think it's going to take forever. What I love about AI is it just kind of gets the ball rolling and it kind of gets that first step, and it's a really big step. So you can even use it to write like email sequences. If you're not doing email marketing, it is a good idea. to keep in touch with, past customers and things like that. But you can say, in this case here, what I wanted to do was, I basically wanted to write a three email sequence, and it was to get 10% off, wood deck installations for a Memorial Day sale. So what we want to target is, of course, residential property owners. So that's basically the prompt I gave here. I'm a fence contractor, create me a 3 email sequence that I want to offer 10% off wood deck installations as a Memorial Day sale, and my target audience is residential property owners. So that's what I typed in here, and then this is what it gave me. So you can see here, it kind of adds like placeholders, which is nice. You could specify with ChatGPT that your name is, whatever, ABC Fencing. So that way it would actually say celebrate Memorial Day with ABC Fencing and enjoy exclusive 10% off all wood fencing. It even bolds it, so it kind of focuses their eyes of where they should look. And then this one here, why choose wood fencing, give some pros about it, aesthetics and appeal. Privacy and security. I don't know if that's best one or whatever, but that's basic. Oh, sorry, this was for fencing. Privacy and security mix. I was thinking it was decking for a second, but yeah, it makes sense. Increased property value, of course, and then you can talk about the sale duration. So if you wanted to run at specific days, you get this prompt here and just be like, okay, that sounds good, but I want to run this sale from start date to end date. Like, put the dates in there. You can start adding these details that they don't have, and then they'll add them for you. It's not like you have to manually add this yourself. Then you can also include this, your name, your position, all this stuff. Tell ChatGPT in just human language, and it'll edit that for you, so you have a more complete email sequence. If there's anything you don't like about it, maybe you're like, I don't want to tell them why to choose wood fencing. For whatever reason, you can say, exclude that section, include a section for why it's, I don't know, how to maintain it, or I don't know, just something else. Sorry, I'm really blanking on a good idea here, but just some other section that maybe you would rather talk about. Just say, remove that section, include this one instead, and it'll create you a new prompt. So I'm hoping, I know that Greg and Scott were impressed, but I don't know, is anybody else this cool to you? I mean, is this something that you didn't know about ChatGPT? I mean, put a 1 in the chat if you were, kind of surprised, didn't know this was, put a 1 in there if you did not know you could do this with ChatGPT. Put a 2 in there if you already did. Just curious to see what level, if everyone's been playing around with this. All right, so Glenn already knew. Okay. All right, so let's, last thing I wanted to kind of touch on, the website content is great. It's not just limited to, entire pieces of content. So you can use it just for like call to actions for a fencing company's website. Just saying, hey, I want to create 5 call to actions that I can put on my website pages. Target audiences, if you're looking for commercial projects in Fort Worth, and say you want to just promote security fences. ChatGPT will create those really quickly. These ones are nice because it's smaller. It's usually easier to edit. And a lot of times you get something that's very close. So you can use these call to actions, throw them on your website, and things like this will allow you to quickly create, call to actions that excite more people, sound really good, and, just create them very fast. So these are just a kind of a subset of content for a website, just talking about the call to actions. All right, and I want to talk about SEO. Assuming pretty much everyone here knows about SEO, but it's all about the process of ranking on Google organically. So instead of paying for ads, you rank naturally on Google when someone types in fence company near me or deck builder near me. So with SEO, you can use it to improve your website pages to rank better. So, and you can also kind of get the process kickstarted with SEO too, which in the very beginning of an SEO process, you need to know what keywords to rank on your website. So basically using ChatGPT, you can say, all right, give me a list of keywords related to fencing or decking that are relevant to my target audience, and also, get some long tail keywords in there too. And then once you have this list, it'll give you a very long list really quickly. You don't want to just take that list and use your strategy based off of it, but you can take those and get statistics for it using things like Google Keyword Planner, Ahrefs, SEMrush. These are some of the popular SEO tools. But the whole idea is it just speeds up the process. You get a list, you can start from there. They'll create lists extremely fast, and then get going with your whole process. On top of that, optimizing your content is a really good idea too. So you can take your existing content on the website and ask them to suggest improvements. So say you have existing website pages and you're like, I don't know if they're SEO friendly. ChatGPT can help you create that and identify basically different opportunities you have to rank better. Also, one thing that's really cool, and this is specific to ChatGPT 4, if you want it to analyze existing pages, you can use ChatGPT has things called plugins. So one that we use a lot is called WebPilot. If you use WebPilot, you'll say, hey, go check out this link on my website, analyze it, and then tell me if there's some ways I can improve my SEO, for the keyword, whatever keyword you're trying to rank for, fence installation, Houston, Texas. Send them your fence installation page, have them look at it, and then it'll actually give you suggestions for ways to improve it. So it really helps speed it up. You want to make sure an experienced person is kind of evaluating it, but it'll, again, get the ball rolling a little bit. Meta descriptions and title tags, if you've never heard of that, that's what you see on Google. So if you have, let's give you an example. Meta title and description would be this here. This is the title. This is the description. So this is what people are seeing. You want to make sure it is enticing. So you can actually use ChatGPT to say, hey, find me some more enticing meta titles and descriptions. It'll give you can even make a list of them, and then edit the meta titles and descriptions for your pages too. The last one for SEO that we typically see it being used, or the most helpful, is going to be user queries. So on your website pages, you want to have FAQ sections, so answering questions from customers. You could do this by listening to what the customers are saying, popular questions, and put those on the website, or you can use ChatGPT to create a list and then take it from there. So you can say, hey, ChatGPT, create an FAQ section with questions and answers to common questions that fence or deck builders get when they're giving estimates. They'll give you a list there. You can expand on that as you want, add some of your own if you don't see them, and that's really important to have on your pages for SEO purposes too. So lots of different use cases for AI for marketing, not just marketing, but all parts of a fencing or decking business. But the marketing side, we have explored a lot of it, and it's given really good results. All right, so that's about it. I am just curious if anyone wants to share. I'm just curious, what you learned. Is there anything you noticed? Anything that I guess really stuck out? If there's anything that really really exciting to you, really cool, whatever the case may be. If you want to put that in the chat, feel free. Or if you want to send me an email or any questions like that, that's my email there too. Greg said, I've used ChatGPT to help write job postings and generate illustrations. Nice. Yep, that's another one. I mean, that's a cool part about it. I mean, if there's something that you have to do, creating some kind of content in whatever way, at the very least, you can try and use ChatGPT to get the ball rolling. I mean, that's what I like. I mean, I like it for a lot of reasons, but I just like having someone to help me get it started, because a lot of times I was like, I don't have the time to do that. And I put in ChatGPT to get the ball rolling. Before I know it, they're giving me an idea that sparks another thought. And then before I know it, I'm writing it, 10 times faster than I would without it. So that's great. That's a great note, Greg, to use job postings and illustrations too. So he said, Greg said, I'm trying to use it for SEO optimizations that you mentioned below. SEO has been a big challenge for us. Yep. So SEO is a big challenge for a lot of people. It's definitely not an easy task, but yeah, I would definitely have it kind of check out your pages. I'm not sure if you've been on other webinars, but making sure you have enough content on the pages is really important. So On your website pages, if they're really thin, you want to add more content to them. Typically at least 800 words or more is what you want to be looking for. Again, I'm not sure what level or what extent. I mean, I can look at your website if you'd like me to. You can send the link over and I can go through it if you'd like. But building backlinks, that's huge. You got to build backlinks. And then, yeah, really just, I mean, the website's got to look good too. You don't want to have, you want to have a website that looks better than competition, but from there, having content, having backlinks, having a Google listing in the right area, like I was talking about earlier, think about where your Google listing is located. If you're using a commercial location, that's going to be better than residential. So that's really key there too. If you can have a commercial location and rent cheap office space somewhere, that'll help improve your rankings. And then also, putting in the middle of the city or around the areas you want to do work in. Maybe they're like the higher income areas or wherever the most opportunity is. Make sure your Google listing is located somewhere good like that, because without that, if you're kind of in the middle of nowhere, it's just going to be a lot less opportunities, a lot less people to reach out to you. All right. I think that might be it. I don't see anybody else messaging. So yeah, and like I said, Greg, if you have any questions about the website, feel free to reach out. I can check it out for you and just give you some do an audit of it and just give you some pointers on it if you want some feedback on that. But I think that's it. Appreciate everyone joining here. If you do want somebody to check out your website or have any questions about it, feel free to reach out. We can. That's basically what we do, and is just getting people, ranking #1 in search engines, and just growing the business. Ranking #1. Having your marketing dialed in is really, really important. And that's basically all we do. We only work with fencing or decking. There's our website, deckfencemarketers.com. You can reach out to me directly, Alex at, oh, sorry, that's wrong. It's Alex at deckfencemarketers.com. So if you want to reach out, I don't know if that was on the other one too. Yeah, this is the right one here. Alex at deckfencemarketers.com. And then this is our phone number here too. I just saw Glenn, great session, Alex. Yep. Awesome. Awesome, Glenn. Thanks for joining. Appreciate your time. And last thing, I already talked about, about the webinars, of course, the podcast to mention. If you want like very quick information, we're trying to just give value in any way possible. And we know some people like digesting information in certain ways. So we have the webinars, we have the podcast, social media too, all these different channels here. You'll see we post like minute-long videos just about every day about little things you can do to improve your marketing for your fencing or decking business. So those QR codes should go to each corresponding one channel there. If you want to scan it, I'll give you a second there. But either way, if you want to search it, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, you just go to Fence and Deck Marketers and it should pop up. But that's pretty much all I had. Glad everyone here was able to join. It's pretty amazing kind of the world we're in. I think AI is only going to become more prevalent, and just hope everyone can kind of get educated on it, use it, and really just see how it can improve the business, because it's not that expensive. ChatGPT is only $20 a month. The other tools I mentioned are going to be more expensive, but at least get the ball rolling with ChatGPT and kind of see where it goes. But that is it for me. Hope everyone has a great rest of your Thursday, and then great rest of the week. And feel free to reach out if you have any questions or anything like that. But take care, everybody.